Okay, I'm going to do a little video here. I've been getting a lot of emails from some novice guys asking me how I do rods so quick and wanting to know different. And I don't have time to respond to all of them. I'm not being rude, but I thought I'd just do a video, build this rod from start to finish, and videotape from start to finish how I do it. And I'll post these pictures on my website and stuff, and that way when I get these questions, I'll just refer them to there. So we're going to start by building this is a CalStar 700H for a guy I'm building, and today I'm going to do the handle assembly. And this is the way I do it. So the first thing, get everything laid out the way, so you got everything ready to put together. So we got the blank, got the rear grip, foregrip. Actually, that's the wrong rear grip. Rear grip, wheel seat, foregrip, and the butt plug. So everything, and I got my glue and everything over there ready to go. So the first thing I do is kind of measure out where everything's going to go. Just kind of mark it. And then I chuck it up in this old pack bay machine. And this is where the stuff is going to be glued up. Take this CalStar sticker off. So everything bonds up good. So we're going to be gluing up this section, so I just kind of scuff it up just a little bit. It don't have to be much. Just gives the glue a little bit something to grab to. Okay, the next step is we glue up the rear grip. And this used to be kind of a problem with reaming and all that, but Jim Trelikas gave up a little trick that just was a game changer. So start with the rear grip. We're going to take the rear grip and cut a little chamfer in it. Just takes a sharp edge off. Now we're going to take the blank, slide it down to where it stops. Just let it stop right there. And mark the top and the bottom. Then get your butt plug. This one's an Alps rubber gimbal. And get ready to go here. Now the rear grip goes on first, so we're going to use the rubber cement, and it's just Elmer's rubber cement. And on the rear grip, it acts like a lubricant to get it down, and on the rears, I just leave the rubber cement on adhesive. I don't put epoxy on there. So you get to where your marks were, and just put a liberal and then a little stripe down the blank. Now you can slide that down into the rubber cement and get the inside of that grip coated real good. So it's going to be good on the inside. Then I put the butt plug on, and just one smooth motion, just slide it down right up to where it's going to rest on the butt plug. And wipe off any excess. Set that aside for a minute. Wipe off as that dries, it'll just peel off of there. And that's plenty of adhesive for the rear grip, because there's not any pressure. Now when you get into the foregrip, you want epoxy under that, because you got a lot of torque going on that, and you don't want it breaking free. But I've never had one slip on the rears. Okay. Next thing is put on the reel seat. Now you notice that there's no mess to clean up this way. That rubber cement is already dried and it just kind of rolls off. No messy acetone or wiping that blank down or anything like that. Like I said, Jim Treleki's gave this secret up, and I used to dread building handles because reaming them and all that. This was just a game changer. Okay, next we're going to put on the reel seat, and this is how I do it. Slide the reel seat down into place. This is a Alps Central Lock reel seat, number 22. I think it's the best reel seat on the market. Get the nuts up out of the way here. And slide it down where it's going to go, and I just kind of mark the spot there. And then I'm going to build up some arbors to make it fit snug on there. Now this blank's pretty big in diameter, so it's not going to take much of the arbor. Just do a masking tape. You see, it doesn't going to take much at all here. Okay, get on where it's just snug, it'll go on. You shouldn't have to press it too good. Now I space them out about every 1/4 of an inch. It's a little sloppy still. Now you notice I didn't go all the way up to my line because you want a little bit, when it's in there, have a little bit of a valley in there for the glue to go down into the void there. Okay. Now I don't like making a big mess, so whatever's going to drool out the back, I like to cover the threads so you're not having to clean a bunch of glue and goop out of those threads when you're done. Okay, that's ready to go. So then we mix up our glue. I'm using this quick bond, rod bond stuff. It's not going to take a bunch because there's not much. Now if I was doing 6 or 7 of these at a time, I would use the slower drying stuff so I could mix up a batch and knock them all out at once, but this is a single rod, so for video purposes I wanted to set up a little quicker. Get her mixed up here. Now get it spread on. Fill in all the gaps in between the tape arbors. right down to the end of the grip. Okay. Now I kind of twist it on, and you see that the glue is kind of piling up there. When it gets about right to there, I'll force what's piling up down into that little gap, and that way it gets full coated from the rod out to the reel seat. A little bit messy, but I've never had a reel seat spin on me. Wipe off a little bit of goop there. And now what I'll do is pull that off of there. And then there's very little on the threads itself to clean up. Okay, and next what I do, pull it out real quick, and I go over and I check for the spine. Put it in the spine finder. Find the spine. Well, that one's pretty close to dead on, right where I got it. Okay, and we'll check that again here in a minute too. Put it back up in the lathe, and then I've got marked off where my grip's going to be. So you only put epoxy, use the same stuff that you put the reel seat on, and you only put epoxy where the grip itself is going to go. Force that down into that cavity right there, and then the grip will push it the rest of the way down. Now, do the same thing. Cut the sharp edge off of the inside of the hypalon, just enough to take that so it doesn't squeegee the glue off. And then you do the same exact thing. Now this is a 1/2 inch diameter, so it's not going to go as far down the blank, but in the old days we would have had to ream that out to get it closer to fit. With this rubber cement, it'll slide right down. Same deal, mark the spots. Okay, get it down into there, spin it around, slide it into place, and you get a little bit of glue coming out on the reel seat. Wipe that off, and the rest push down into that void that we left in the reel arbors. Okay, Now I usually go over and check this bind one more time to make sure that it didn't slip when I was pushing it on. And yes, this one did a little bit. Okay. And just for good safety, I clamp that down just to hold it till everything dries up. Put my winding check on, and then I'll shape my grips a little bit, but that's for another video. Now that's all there is to it, to building a handle the way I do it. So stay tuned. When I get ready for the next process of this, we'll do another little video clip and hopefully answer some questions. That would be all.